What's good, everybody? So good to be back. We're talking about 808 bass processing, everything dealing with the low end, and we're getting into it right now.
This is a Crush Audio production.
What's good, everybody? Week 6 of the Hustle Grow Producer Challenge. It's my honor to be with you. My name is Ron. I am Crush Audio. I'm a Grammy-nominated producer, engineer. And I'm stoked to be back in town, man. So cool. You know, you feel like you want to get away, and I really did need to get away. But I worked a little bit along the trip. Then I got to see my parents a little bit, which was really cool. Shout out to the mom and dad. And shout out to you, everybody. I'm going to let everybody check in. It's been a minute. It's actually, this will be the third week that I've been away. You know what I mean? It's been 2 weeks, 2 shows, 2 episodes, if you will. And, man, it's good to be back. So I got to get myself used to being back in the saddle again. I'm going to give everybody a big hello online and add it to the broadcast. Make sure as we're starting out, I just want to hurry up and give you a disclaimer. We want to make sure that you are subscribed to the Crush Audio YouTube channel. I just found out the other day, you know, it's going to take me quite a while to get enough subscribers up to be able to, you know, do bigger things with the channel. So every bit helps. And if you're new and you're just tuning in and you want to join the chat, that's what this Friday is sort of all about. It's become sort of just like a hang. But we have a weekly directive. We talk about certain things, and I actually planned it out sort of the way you would plan out a curriculum for teaching, which I've done in the past, and sort of thought about what would be cool. Happy Friday, Alexis. What's good, everybody? Louisville's in the house. You know, just sort of guided the curriculum around what I thought would be helpful for producers. And so over the first few weeks, we talked about the human element in music. We talked about that from a programming perspective. We went into things about sampling, which is sort of the root and the element of, you know, where hip-hop came from, and the ability to take something that was, you know, maybe something from the past that we remember hearing as a kid and we used to love, and reinvigorating that, changing it around, flipping it around, doing something different with it, and surrounding it with a different texture so that we now have created something different. And so we covered sampling. We we talked about just getting a basic mix on the song and getting faders up and just sort of getting all your balances together. We're going to go into that in more detail later on. But also, we've talked about this week is, you know, about something that's super important, and that is the low end of the music. And so excuse me. And so check it out. What are some of the most important things when you think of when I say the low end in music, what are we talking about? I'm just saying. Yeah, Nashville in 20 days. That's super dope. Can't wait to see you guys when you get into town. So, what are we talking about when we're talking about the low end? We're talking about 808. We're talking about electric bass. We're talking about acoustic bass. Those are the three low ends we're going to deal with. Also, part of that is not an it's part of a bigger instrument, the kick drum. So, these are the things 808, the electric bass, the acoustic bass. Could you identify that in a song? As a producer, you should be able to, and you should know sort of where they have their lane, so to speak. What I'm talking about is like, in trap music, for instance. Okay. I don't know why that's doing that. But in trap music, for instance, let's say we have, uh, an acoustic upright bass. So here, I'll give you an example. If I have a trap song, here you go. First one, acoustic band. And I do something like this. All right, yeah. While you may argue and say it sounds pretty cool, it actually does. But in a trap song, that's not going to work, right? So if you know and you start speaking the language, that's the other thing. You got to start speaking the language, right, of music. You have a language in every environment that you're working in, right? There's a particular language. I started noticing this, a long time ago. How many languages do you speak? And when I'm asking that question and I'm saying, how many languages do you speak? I'm talking about, think about all through your life. Whatever it is that you've done, I've been on this earth for 54 years, so I've gone through some ups and downs, But regardless, even if you're a 16-year-old kid listening to this or a 25-year-old young adult, you think about what you're currently doing. Maybe you're not pursuing music. Maybe music's just a hobby. Maybe you're pursuing something else. Let's say, I don't know, say you work in the healthcare industry or you work in an office environment in the healthcare industry. Maybe you work at a doctor's office or a chiropractor's office or something like that. You know what I mean? You're, and you went to school for communications or for human resources or something like that. So it's sort of in your field. When you go there to take that job, how long does it take for you to get acclimated at that job? Probably not too long, no matter what it is within that particular area. After you've worked in it for a while, you sort of start speaking that language, right? You sort of start knowing what they call certain transactions and what your field is. I remember when I was younger, I used to work in a credit card terminal. And my aunt, God bless her, what's up, Aunt Mary Jane? My aunt, God bless her, she used to, she had a great job. She was in management and sales at this company. It was called Nabanco. And I lived in Florida at the time. And I was just in basically a call center. And I had my little cubicle. But just in my little cubicle, I would start getting calls for approvals on credit cards, 50 grand, 75 grand. And then I got promoted and I was up on the supervisor table, and I'd be responsible for approving purchases from things like multiple dumps of credit cards, like from cruise ships, like, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in several transactions that you have to approve. So anyway, the point is, I started understanding the language they were speaking when they were talking about approvals and certain terms, certain acronyms we would use, all that shit, right? No different with music, right? All of these things are different dialects, different things that allow us to dig a little deeper and understand where they would be appropriate. And that's why we always say, what's up, my guy? Shout out, Nate. What's good, my guy? Louisville again. All kind of love from Louisville. Always. So awesome. Anyway, so, I'm going to a point here, and the point is, like, you gotta, like, learn the rules so you can break the rules. I mean, I just started off saying, oh, well, you would never put an acoustic bass. You wouldn't put that on a trap music song. But no, the probabilities are that no, you wouldn't. If you just told me to play a trap music song right now or a beat, it wouldn't include an acoustic bass. But knowing that and knowing what tone an acoustic bass has and knowing the whole backstory there, speaking the language, I may choose to do that. And I may choose to put some kind of effect on that bass. What up, Fri? I didn't think this through, but let's be creative right off the rip. That's what part of the show is about. So let's get in here and there we go. There we go. Let's get in here and see if we can add some effects. So I'm also going to shout out some plugins. So for those of you that watch this on replay, producers especially, if you don't know about this plugin, you should. It's been around for a long time. And quite frankly, with its ability to import other sound profiles from third-party people, different genre-specific things, it could be possibly the only thing you need. People shy away from it because it's a huge price point. I think it was like $500 when I first bought Trillion. I don't know what it costs now. I'd hope it's a little cheaper. I don't think it's more expensive. But you can look that up and fact-check me. How much... Trillion Spectrasonics is the name of the company. List price. These days, I'm wondering, just curious, not sure, not 100% sure, but I think it's like $500. So, okay, So we know we have this acoustic bass here, and we know now that it's from company is Spectrasonics Trillion. There it is right there. Okay, so I have that sound, right? What if let's just put some drive on that. We won't go totally crazy. We'll go pretty crazy. Okay? Okay. Not nuts. Correct? Okay. But take that off. Wow, 279. Son of a bitch. Did go down. Well, that's a steal. I would consider that a steal. What if... Hold on. Let me hear something. Uh-oh. Okay. So here's a beat, right? Okay. So that could turn into, that was an acoustic bass until a minute ago. It was this. And we turned it into... pretty dope. We gotta lose the latency. I don't like that. So we got the acoustic bass. Okay, cool. We got Spectrasonics Trillion. Okay, cool. Here's another one. Sonic Academy. They have something called Anna 2. ANA 2. You could choose all these crazy fucking skins, right? Like you can go in there in settings and do all these different looks with this thing. So it's sort of cool in that regard. I mean, for me, the crazier the better. I like the wild shit. You know? But whatever floats your boat. And pretty much your standard synthesizer that has a little bit of everything. Here's your oscillator, here's your waveform, all that stuff, right? Here's your actual sample, your waveform. And here's almost laid out like a pedal board would be. Here's a whole bunch of different effects. Envelopes, amp envelopes, modulation envelopes. And these exist for all of these bass sounds. But listen to the comparison in sound. Beautiful sounds. Beautiful sounds. Real easy to dial in. I mean, as complicated as this looks, 99% of the time, this is all for show. The presets dial me in, and then I save. You know, so there's a little gem for you as well. I mean, if I've got a sound I'm going for, if it's a track I'm building for somebody, then I might as well go in there and I might as well, like, literally cater the sound to what I'm working on. And then once I've dialed that in, if it's something that's common, let's say I'm working on something, or you're working on something like a tight beat. Okay, and it's I don't know, throw in, insert whatever artist you like. Let's say it's a Future type beat. Well, then, you know, whatever you dial in for your sound, which, by the way, that's going to require an 808. And, you know, as you could see, this plugin has a lot of 808s. And that's not including the bass, which has its whole other monster amount of presets here. But it also has a great filtering system, so you can get precise with it if you want, if you know exactly what you're looking for. If you don't, then when you do find what you're looking for, make sure you save it as a preset. That's a gem. A lot of producers don't do that. I don't see them working super fast. And, you know, the point of me doing this show was to, like, sort of walk everybody through certain things, not to just sit there and build beats in front of you and act like exactly I know what I'm doing. So give me feedback, you know, always, you know, feel like, you know, don't feel like, I don't want it to feel like, you know, I'm preaching here. I'm just giving you some workflow tips that I see that sometimes other people don't do. So then anyway, I named these things and I rate them because it gives me the opportunity to do that. And then, you know, when I'm going to play, I know what I'm getting ready to play. Right? So that's going to be hard-hitting shit, you know, something mumble rap. right? So, Anna 2, another great resource. Check that out. Okay, save the best for last. If you don't know, now you know. Future Audio Workshop. You should know because they've had Sublab out for a long time. They also make a synth called Circle 2. Anybody familiar? Cool. Right off the top, I got it like that. I can just sort of like just picture it up, and just. I'm playing many years of practice trying to do shit. What's up, man? Yeah. I know. I keep seeing it on my thing, man. And, I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure about. I'm not sure, man. I keep seeing it on my thing here. I must have had it, I'm sure I don't have it. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it appears to be invalid because it is. Anyway, so yeah, check it out. Sublab, Future Audio Workshop. Really cool plugin. They had an original Sublab. They came out with Sublab XL, which essentially were some upgrades and some additional, a lot of additional plugging or 808 kits. So, they've sort of categorized shit for you, right? Analog machines. Okay, so you got a Moog 808. Here's something like that. Let's just get rid of the music and play some drums. Hold on. There we go. Let's see what this does. That's not the right sound for that, but just to give you an idea. So here's I'm going to cycle through some of these. Here we go. You know what? Let's try this look. What do you think? Sort of got into a groove there. That's pretty cool. All right. But anyway, check some of this other stuff out. The crush sounds are amazing. And now, editing capability. amazing. I can go in here and say, hey, give me less of that initial attack. I don't want so much because I have a kick drum here. All right, so yo, what's good, Jeff? You're here. We're talking 808s, man. And we're just taking a look at this guy. I was talking to the group, everybody that's checked in. Welcome, Jeff Doherty, amazing musician and artist and friend, and just a super guy who I was told somebody, a little birdie, told me has a really, really dope project coming out soon. So can't wait to hear that, man. We're talking about 808s. This one is from Future Audio Workshop, and it's called Sublab XL. And just going through some of the presets, but these are just some of my favorites. I save these, like I was saying, as I go. And then, whenever I want to try out a different sound, I have some things identified from a long list. Now, if I took this out of favorites, look how many aren't marked, So when you start adding that all together, there are a ton of different packs here, It narrows everything down for me. And pretty dope. It's called Mike Dean it, so it's pretty cool, pretty appropriate. Anyway, favorites are in each category, and I don't have to dick around trying to find something. That doesn't mean I won't go to these every once in a while and try. Aw, look how nice. Everybody's saying hello to each other. What a kind bunch of people we have. So, at any rate, know what to pick for what. And for the beat, quite frankly, that's going on behind there, I don't know. If I'm going to have an 808, I almost feel... I don't think that would be my first choice here. I mean, I could do it, but let's see. Let's compare. I'll try and find something that'll work. No. And it's something just dawned on me. The whole point of all of this, the whole point of all of this is to work quickly, right? Work creatively, work fast, right? That's the whole goal of getting all this shit on the screen lined up. It takes time to go through and identify what your favorite bass sounds are. But as a producer, and not just bass, obviously, I go through all of these things and identify what I like and what I don't like. And what I'd like, I either name it and save it, or I definitely mark it here. This one, I didn't change the preset name because I probably didn't alter it from what the actual preset was. But I did mark it a 5-star, so it must fit for something that I was hearing at some point. Not cool. Not for this. Right? But anyway, you see the point. I will make a decision based on what I know the track's going to be. Like if I started with the drums, like in this particular song or in this particular idea, then I'll make a decision. I'll give myself some context and I'll go with what I think is going to be best. For that, I'm thinking old school, thinking electric bass. I'm thinking funky, Marcus Miller, West Coast, something along those lines. What do you guys think? What do you think? Or do you, hold on, let me rephrase that. Do you think about what type of bass I'm just going to ask it here. It's too much for me to say and write. I can't do both at the same time, evidently. Do you think about what type of bass you're going to use in your music productions? Like, does that ever, like if I played you this and said, yo, here I have this idea, which happens to be it started there, then this layer, I had added something else was added there. Okay, so if I gave you that and I ask you, what's the bass sound going to be? How are you going to approach writing to that? What are you going to do? If I told you had to start with the bass, what kind of bass would you start with? And do you go through that thought process when you're creating something, or are you just flying by the seat of your pants? I'm not trying, that sounded like that's a bad thing. It is sort of, man. I mean, like, have an idea about what you're doing. Don't just don't just randomly start. You got to narrow down. In a world where we have options like fucking crazy, an embarrassment of riches, so to speak. I mean, look look at all the bass sounds I have. At the tip of my finger, any clean Fender rock bass, okay, boom, here it is. Whoops. Trying to make a big point. Right? Fender Rock, Marcus Miller, fingers. Right. So I'd be thinking about what, my point is like, if you have all these different sounds and you don't have something identified and marked, you're going to start fucking around and spending 8 million hours. Oh, thank you, man. Which one? Which one did you like? We got also, like, check it out. I mean, we got John Patitucci. Okay, so like we went from that, Marcus Miller, and we can go to Patitucci. Anyway, Patitucci, and just like a whole bunch of variations of his, one of my, you got muted basses like palm mute. The walking bass. I mean, just pretty much anything you want. So the point is, get some sort of handle on what you like, spend and invest the time instead of always just trying to build something. Identify what you like when you have these resources. And so I guess I'm talking to newer producers. I guess I'm talking to guys who haven't gone through this process or maybe haven't thought about it that way. What do you think about that? What's your process? What do you like to do? You know what I mean? Yes. Good point. Yeah. The groove. It's the groove. You don't want to overplay the groove. So whatever you're doing with the bass line, you want it to be sort of relatively just sitting in the pocket, right? Maybe something like that. I don't know. That's a little more along the lines. There it is. Wondered why I wasn't getting any volume. Now, after you do that as a producer, do you ever think about just cycling through all these sounds? You know? Go through all your favorite ones. Pretty dope, right? I'm cooking. Right? And now, you know, maybe there can be a section, and by the way, getting, you know, into more just beat making, not just about bass, but, you know, now maybe there's a section where this all breaks down, right? Let's take a look over here, and let's take a look at what we could do. You know, something for a break. Maybe we should just do a different pattern. Maybe something just simple. Right? Trying to figure out something to do to come out of that. Okay. So we bring everything back in. Not different. All right, so if we move from this, and we take that off, and we go to this, take that off. There we go. Different beat. So, thank you. I'm glad you like. Let's just try a couple other bass sounds. Maybe not out of trillion. Maybe we find something even somewhere else. For those of you that have native instruments, last thing we're going to look at. Anybody with Reactor, if you have the Reactor plugin, what it means is you actually have all kind of different plugins that have all kind of different presets. Here is the TRK-01 bass. This is from Reactor Native Instruments. We're going to listen to this for the first time together. I like that enough, simple, right? But can't we do something cool with that? Let's see what we can do with this thing as far as size is concerned. Can I please see? My God. That's a problem. My God. All right. Fuck it. Trying to see where I have access to do some glide stuff. But I'm not seeing it. Well, let's see what else this has. Bet you didn't know that in the Reactor plugin, you also have stuff like the Blocks plugin, which is pretty dope. Check this out. Check this. All from one key. Textures. Pretty amazing, right? There's another one called Rounds in here. I'm just exposing you to everything that Native Instruments Reactor has to offer. So you have all the bass stuff in there. How would I use the texture stuff? Well, there's texture stuff in here. So instead of me going back, here's one in Dark Forest. Let's see what that is. Hold on. Waiting. Hold on. Let me slide on over here. Okay. Not my favorite. Now, let's go back to your what was it? Okay. Landing. Let's see what this is, guys. Don't love it. I want to get a good example to show you. There it is. No, that's not it. I'm trying to look what we were just in. Was it Prism? I can't remember. No. I'm looking at all these different form. Can't remember what it was. Okay. Well, here, for instance, at least this gives me something. I would say, to answer your question, those are more like atmospheric or special effects type things, scenarios. If you're just providing a texture of some sort, I think they do have a tonal center to a certain degree, most of them. Some of them are just straight up, not really pretty much atonal. But I'm going to try and find something weird for you and give you an idea of where I would use it. This might work. Weird enough? Right? You know what I mean? So I could do all this shit with that sound, even more so. Being serious, I was just fucking around. But honestly, almost mocking the rhythm or playing counter rhythms and then just letting the effect do whatever the fuck it wants to do. I'm thinking boom, boom. Bum, 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 boom, boom. That's what I'm thinking. And then you could go to a tonal center. Right? So I could make that some kind of weird part of my beat. Or the driving force in the beat. With this particular thing, you have, you can get into actual tonal stuff where it's modulating for you. So, for instance, that would work. Not the greatest, right? But you see what the possibilities are. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but hopefully that helped tonight. I'm a little bit rusty, quite admittedly. I went overtime, which I didn't want to do, but hey, it is what it is. Man, I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Hey, by the way, the reason I was out of town, and a shameless plug, been working front of house for a band lately that's I guess has been around Nashville for quite some time, and so that's what pulled me out of town the last time, and also recorded a really dope rock record and EP. We did 4 songs at the barn and finished it off here at my place, and getting ready to start mixing that. So shout out to Dale Shackelford, shout out to A Conundrum, amazing rock group right here in Nashville, outside of Nashville, Murfreesboro. And yeah, I think you're gonna be really excited. We got dope vocals, dope grooving band, special guest artist, gospel choir, saxophone player. Really dope project. So until next time, everybody, I will see ya next Friday.